This is BCA 101, Introduction to Computers and Information Systems. Alright, we're finishing up Unit 2. So we have, so far in the course, we have talked about devices. And we talked about the processor, we've talked about random access memory, the memory, and then we talked about some devices, how they store things locally on a hard drive, and we've covered a fair amount of terminology in terms of the device. The device, either through the air or through a wire, usually connects to some local area network. And nowadays, a lot of those networks are connected to, I'll do it in red here, the internet. And so we have some connection to the internet. And then the internet is, the reason it's called an internet is it connects us to other locations. You know, places in which we can communicate and store information or get information via the internet. I've more than emphasized the idea of we take data and convert that into some type of information. I'm just going to say info, using software. And we talked about the different types of software, the operating system working with the hardware, the application working with the operating system, and us people working with the application. Then we went and we started talking about this whole concept together, and we emphasized a little bit more about the internet and how we use browsers to communicate through the internet. And we've talked a little bit about why we use technology, the speed and the ability to manage large amounts of data very accurately, it's reliable, and so forth. Now we want to come back and look at a little bit about how we've learned some of the basic information. How does technology impact us? So each one of these could be a course, believe it or not. You know, how we learn, you could have a whole course on how technology is used in learning. Now, a lot of us think of education in terms of like here at a school. But technology is helping us learn lots of ways. I mean, how many people have looked at YouTube, just as an example, have looked at YouTube and learned how to do something? Like how to change the oil in your Harley Davidson motorcycle. Right? I mean, you know, I don't know how many have a Harley Davidson. I mean, you see things on Pinterest, and you go to YouTube and you find ways to do that, like make flowers. Maybe make flowers for a wedding, you know, out of paper. Or maybe it's just train people at your business on new techniques in daycare. Train people in your business on new techniques in how to care for a certain kind of wound in a hospital. I mean, it's endless. It's a whole nother way in which we learn. And so there's the options are infinite. Khan Academy, I mean, a great place to learn math if you don't learn math well in the conventional center. You know, in the conventional way, you know, somebody just teaching it. Impact affects how we work. Well, you know, my whole job is about technology, you know, in teaching technology and then using technology and so forth. our work has changed to, more information driven, and you can take, a lot of jobs, if not most jobs, and there's some technology involved. I mean, either in tracking where the truck is, if you're a truck driver, to keeping track of your logs, to, I could go on and on. Whether it's retail business, whether it's education, whether it's the government. Just think of how much information is involved with banking. And we're going to talk about financial here in a minute. It's just, it's endless, how technology is being involved with what we do. And if you remember, why do we use technology to do that? Well, there's some good reasons. It's fast, it's accurate, we can use large quantities, and it's become pretty reliable. So how we work, how we do financial transactions. I'll do some green here. Well, nowadays, how you deal with your bank. Okay, how you transfer money. I saw two people with two smartphones, and they transferred money between those two smartphones. They did a couple clicks, they tapped them, and the money went from one account to the other. Not literally in the phone. The money went, if we look down here at the bottom, if this is one bank here and there's another bank here, and then there's a little thing in between here, we won't go into that now, but that money just was transferred from one account to another using here Bluetooth, which we'll learn more about Bluetooth later on. The world finances, it's huge what they're doing financially. And with the whole world now, debit cards, and of course a lot of that's under scrutiny now, but the world in terms of how we transfer, how we buy, how we get paid, and so forth. All right, the next one. How we play. Just some of the things between, first of all, you might think of video game. Gaming's a huge industry, so we're not going to talk about that right now. But there's other things we do. People do all these fantasy leagues. Okay, people are on Pinterest because they enjoy seeing the different things people pin. You can just think some people just enjoy to watch videos and currently how we get our movies and so forth into our homes or into our businesses, in terms of maybe Netflix and all those different options nowadays. Okay? Technology has a big effect on what we do entertainment. Both I'll give both a plus and maybe a minus in some of that. This one, how we create. Does technology allow us to be more creative, or does technology stifle some creation? Should we be doing art on a computer, on some computing device, because it's handy, it's cool, it allows us to do some really cool things to make it look good, or should we still be doing it on a canvas, a canvas or a painting, or what combination of that works best? Are we more creative because we have technology, or does technology stifle our creativity because it does everything for us? I don't have an answer. Okay, I don't have an answer. Because it's probably not a direct answer. It's probably hindered in some ways and aided in others. This one, though, this one here, it's amazing what we do to communicate now. And in this unit, we talked about a lot of them. Video chat, all the different things you can do with video chat. There's multiple ways you can chat with somebody and they can see you. Okay, that's become really popular because the technology works pretty well now. And there's other avenues for that. There's video conferencing. Similar to video chat, but you can bring a group of people together and produce something. We do a little bit of that in class. The whole world of texting, email, blogging, Wikipedia, and social networking. Social networking has become a huge way to communicate. You know, how do you share some pictures and so forth? The whole world, how it communicates via technology, has changed a lot in recent years because of the ability to use the internet and the ability of the internet to be able to move what we need, like video, in a efficient manner now, where years ago that didn't occur. And the fact we're communicating and sharing things electronically that maybe we wouldn't have shared before. Or we're going to start talking about the topic as we go along. Do we say things on the internet that we wouldn't say face to face? And how does this affect, you know, there are restaurants that you get a discount if you check your phone at the entrance. Kind of like you had to check your gun in the Wild West before you came in. Because people don't like it, some people, when you're in a restaurant and people are on the phone or talking at one table and other people are trying to have a conversation at their own table. It's that sense of etiquette now with technology. You know, where is that at? We're going to discuss that more. And that kind of leads into this, you know. You can't hardly be alive these days and not understand that there are security issues with putting information out here. Because that information has to pass through networking equipment and through a cloud that somebody else manages. Okay? It has to. I mean, every bit. You know, I don't care if you're home or wherever. When you connect in and you do anything that's going to move through the internet, that information has to go through an internet service provider. It has to go through some networking equipment that we're going to learn more about later on. But it has to. So how do you feel about security, the information, and privacy? And so we have what I've seen with the internet now, and I've seen the internet, you know, initially when we could first get on it to what we're doing today. I have seen a large range of individuals that, from, you know, they're really concerned to they could care less, okay, and how and why they fit into this range, okay, and how and why we fit. It is an important thing. What we need to do is we need to understand it. We need everybody, everybody. Your third grader who's using Facebook or using some type of communications electronically needs to understand some rules, some regulations, some sense of what's appropriate and what isn't appropriate. Okay? And we need to learn how this is protected or not protected, what's safe, what isn't safe. So we could have a couple courses on internet security if we wanted to. Okay? So that's going to lead us things here. The students are to give their opinion and then express their opinion with other students, and we have a you know, what kind of impacts. And what's good about this, you know, on your personal privacy, I think what's good about this is we get a wide range of views. We get some misnomers, you know, people say that somebody is reading every single thing they ever do, and other people say, no, you know, they're not worried about it, or things come up that you have never thought much about. You could do lots of research. We just want to do a little bit, and we want to talk about what kind of impacts has it made, you know, how has it affected people's lives. I know people who had Facebook and then got rid of it, and then just recently you got Facebook again. You know, they're in, they're out, and there's nothing wrong with that. But something happens and they decide, no, we don't want to do this. Or somebody, you know, some type of information that's shared, is it appropriate? Should you share that with your friends on Facebook? And how is that used? And I'm using Facebook as an example. We could use Google Plus. You know, there used to be the MySpace as social networking, texting, and sharing information by blogs, and this whole idea of polarization. People will go out on the internet and only pull in the information they like to hear and ignore the information from another point of view. When you're, how, accurate, how accurate, there's things that are purposely false put on the internet. Do you fact check things? It's just, when you are online, how secure is your particular connection online? Anyway, so finish up the course, we'll learn that we're going to be able to start doing peer reviews by, in the first project, you should have created a website. Well, you could create and put a link to your outline on the website and then allow somebody to go in and edit that. Not edit it necessarily, but go in and do a review. And we're going to talk about that in class. All right? So, we got 2 units done.